Good evening once again and welcome to our second edition of UBC News Tonight. I'm Lorraine Masika Kazimoto and Muhammad Mugalu on sign language interpretation. We start off with their first headlining story this evening. The School Management Committee of Lalogi Primary School, where the late Speaker of Parliament Jacob Oulanyah went for his primary school, want government to renovate the school to keep his legacy. The structures of the school are dilapidated and Oulanyah had pledged to renovate them, but since he is no more, the administration fears that the school might collapse.
Deep inside the rural district of Omoro is Lalogi Primary School, where the fallen Speaker of Parliament Jacob Oulanyah went for his primary education. However, according to the head teacher of Lalogi Primary School, Joyce Okoth, the current state of the school is appalling, with most of the structures in dilapidated state and already being condemned by the district engineers are not for use.
It is quite alarming. The structures are not okay. First of all, this is a P7 school with 7 classes, but we only have 6 classes. And the 6 classes, there are only 4, which are some are fair. The other 3, they are not. The other 2, actually, they are not even, I could just say, because they are just in an open place. The windows are not there, the door shutters not there, and this is now disturbing teachers and learners a lot, because a teacher cannot keep the learning material in the class. Because when you do it at your own expense. Even outsiders will just come and remove it. And then there is no staff room in this school. Our teachers sit under the shade. This shade here, the tree you are seeing, they sit there and they write on their laps because we don't have even tables. The school has only 2 tables, which is not even big. So you can see the status of the school.
The head teacher, Joyce Okoth, says when he met the fallen Speaker of Parliament in 2018, he pledged to fix all the necessary facilities required in the learning process, including fencing the school and turning it into a boarding primary school.
That is why he came up to see that building classrooms, making the whole thing in boarding and furnishing it. That was his promises, that the seats should also be there. Right now, the enrollment of the school, we are only 375, and the 375 is not the normal enrollment of those days when those of Jacob Oulanyah were here. This school was leading with thousands of children. But why are children going away? It is because of the structure which we have. Right now, P1 children do not have where to sit, and they are on the floor. They are sitting on the floor because we have no seat, and even the library is not there.
But since the speaker died before fulfilling his pledges, the head teacher and the school management now appeals to the government to take over and revamp the school.
As we lost him, sincerely the gap is so great for us, and as the school, immediately we learned that our dear speaker has passed on. We, as the school administrators and the management, we decided that if the government could come along and complete the promises and the pledge that this is the speaker left behind, then at the entrance of our school, at the gate, we put there a monument in remembrance of him. And not only that, we also saw that if we could really start a Jacob Foundation, whereby the government put something in a basket, where we will start on from there, that would be really welcoming.
Philip Aguta, UBC News in Omoro.
National Resistance Movement members based in Canada under the umbrella body NRM chapters have grieved and mourned the passing on of the Speaker of Parliament, the late Jacob Oulanyah. They convened their condolence message at NRM's Chadodo-based offices.
It is a week now since the nation was hit by the sad news of the demise of the Speaker of Parliament, Jacob Oulanyah, in a hospital in Seattle in the United States of America, where he had been hospitalized. Ugandans home and abroad have since then mourned the late Oulanyah. The National Resistance Movement chapter in Canada also sent their condolence message to the late Oulanyah's family and the entire country at large. The chapter chairperson Fred Chinene said, the late Oulanyah was a hard-working senior public servant who deserves to be emulated. Chinene also asked Ugandans to attend the forthcoming Canada Convention, where Ruth Nankabira is expected to represent government.
Affairs Director, Mr. Wichi, has blessed us with good words, and we are ready to move on with everything. So at this time where we are, the convention is at high gear. The symposium has to happen.
Of this symposium is the consolidation of the NRM government achievements, goals, and the perception of the NRM government towards the diaspora. So there are concerns which the people who are in the diaspora, they want the government to address. So that's the main aim of this symposium.
Head NRM Affairs in the Diaspora, Major Awich Pola, pledged to support Ugandans at the convention and asked them to register.
Chinese outside Uganda, outside China. The Chinese follow their citizens to know how they are. Uganda is expected to have 2 million Ugandans outside. We also follow them. We want to know they are good. We want to know they are provided counselor services. If anybody gets problem anywhere, we as a party, and we are the ruling party, we are telling the government, which is the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, to ensure that all Ugandans are safe. So these 2 million Ugandans contribute 5% of the GDP. We can't leave them out. We have to follow them. We have to see that they are...
Ivan Juko, Weekly from Dutch, UBC News.
The late Speaker of Parliament, Jacob Oulanyah, initially belonged to the opposition party Uganda People's Congress. However, like most other politicians, Oulanyah changed goalposts and joined the NRM, a change that meant well for him as he prospered in leadership up to the level of Speaker of Parliament.
He was not the only one who was in UPC, as you may know. Some of us were UPC youth wingers.
During his youthful and school days, the late Speaker of Parliament Jacob Oulanyah was a strong supporter of Uganda People's Congress, UPC party.
In our case, we decided to reject the old parties. Those of us who were involved in the founding of the national resistance movement.
To rewind his political journey, we interacted with the former Premier, Dr. Ruhakana Rugunda.
We said, let's reject the old politics and start the politics that brings everybody together. We started weak politically, or small as a team, but with a powerful message. And that powerful message of uniting Ugandans for the development of the people and the country.
Oulanyah found a soft landing in the NRM party, rising in ranks to the level of NRM party chairperson Northern Uganda and Speaker of Parliament.
But because we saw his potential, he was quickly given heavy responsibilities, chairman of the Legal Committee of Parliament, looking at the constitutional issues, subsequently being Deputy Speaker, and now Speaker of Parliament. And I must say, he has died young with enormous potential, but there is no doubt that he was one of the foremost leaders that the country had.
During the debate on the sale of Uganda Commercial Bank in Parliament, Kira Municipality Member of Parliament Ibrahim Semuju recalls how the late Jacob Oulanyah ably debated over the matter for close to 2 hours.
UCB had been sold to Westmont, which had teamed up with the Greenland Bank, a sale that went wrong. So the second sale to Stanbic Bank was done by Bank of Uganda against the resolution of Parliament. So there was a sitting of Parliament in which MPs debated whether Bank of Uganda had the powers to sell Uganda Commercial Bank or not. That debate was led by Jacob Oulanyah. He spoke for 2 hours.
Semuju anticipates that it might be this background that the NRM party embarked on the persuasion process to have Oulanyah into the NRM party ranks.
And by the way, it is from that point that I saw the Honorable Sam Kutesa, Mwesigwa Rukutana, and Isaac Musumba. The three were ministers of state under Sendaula. They took him away after that debate. And I suspect that's when they started persuading him to go and join NRM. He was such a very good speaker, very convincing. So that debate I'll never forget.
Although the leadership of Uganda People's Congress had buried their hatchet with the late, they still believe it was unnecessary to abandon their cause.
He betrayed the cause and crossed. We wished him well. He has been a speaker. So it is unfortunate he died earlier before we could express what he had coped from the UPC.
Rugunda, however, notes that even when Jacob Oulanyah belonged to NRM, he never at one time ganged against the opposition, especially during parliamentary proceedings.
I'll now finish from this side, then we see out. We need to roll this up. Yes. Is that Namisindwa? Yes. Let me have Namisinda, then but Bulisa, the bus left the station because at the time I wanted you to speak, you were not here. Okay.
He really went out of his way to ensure that the opposition was as productive as possible and that it was not just a ping-pong between government and the opposition. His aim, his objective, what he worked for was to get the best out of everybody, whether in government or in the opposition.
He now leaves the podium at a very tender age, where many believes the country, region and continent needed more of him. Robert Nyango, UBC News.
The Minister for Information, Communication, Technology and National Guidance, Dr. Chris Baryomonsi, has advised the residents of Greater Mubende to embrace government programs for the development of the region. Baryomonsi was officiating the annual general meeting of Mubende employees and community circle in Kasanda district.
I want everybody to be involved in creating wealth and fighting poverty.
The Minister for Information, Communications, Technology and National Guidance, Dr. Chris Baryomonsi, has asked Greater Mubende residents to embrace government programs to realize growth. The Minister was officiating Mubende Employees and Community Circle annual general meeting in Kasanda district that was until recently part of Mubende district.
Now focusing on fighting poverty. Parish development models here by NRM is for Ugandans.
Baryomonsi advised Mubende residents to concentrate on development and ensure they embrace government programs like the parish development model to enjoy a money economy era.
I also want to add my voice that don't mix our partisan politics with the circle affairs. Otherwise you will get divided and the circle can get problems. But I'm very happy that even when we have our politics, that does not enter issues of the circle, and our team will work with you and help you to develop the system. And I think the biggest...
The chairperson Mubende Employees and Community Circle, Lutabora Nelson, appreciated the Minister's counsel and preached to ensure digital migration of the circle.
In our circle, we need more technology in our circle, so we had to address to the right person. And indeed, he has done it for us. He has promised to assist us.
Mubende Employees and Community Circle was established in 1991 for Mubende district employees, but currently is open to all those serving in Mubende, Kasanda and Mityana district. Jane Nyaramdisha reporting for UBC.
Karamoja sub-region leaders have apologized to families and government over the recent murder of 3 geologists and 2 UPDF soldiers by suspected Karamojongo warriors. The incident took place in Lokisile Parish, Lotisand Sub-County, Moroto District on the 21st of this month. They have assured the country that as leaders, they are working with security to prevent a repeat of such incidents.
To apologize to the bereaved families.
Religious and political leaders in Karamoja have roundly condemned the current wave of insecurity in the sub-region. The Bishop of Karamoja, Joseph Abura, Napaka District Vice Chairperson Priska Loyoro, and Moroto District Speaker Caesar Akol condemned and apologized to the families of the 3 geologists and UPDF soldiers for the death of beloved ones.
We are here as Karamoja leaders to apologize to our fellow countrymen and women of Uganda for the act that happened on the 21st of March this year, where our geologists and the soldiers were killed in cold blood. It's really a very bad act to us, the leaders of Karamoja, and with a painful heart, we send our condolences to the families of the grieved.
It with all my force. It is evil. It is not right. It is going to cost Karamoja other things. Now the whole world, maybe the army or Uganda, the whole Uganda is annoyed about the Karamoja.
It has assured tourists, expatriates and explorers in mineral industry that they are working with the security to end insecurity in Karamoja.
Generally, in urban centers, in trading centers, in towns, the situation is calm. It's just a few areas here and there. In the outcasts, outcasts of the town, that we have some challenges. But of course, the army has intensified its operations, and we hope the region is going to be pacified.
And I want to assure the country is the UPDF, the military, are really working hand in hand to bring these culprits on book on the ongoing operation that is going on. At least they have managed to arrest some people. And I want to assure you, the insecurity is going to come down.
However, to engage lower council leaders and communities in case of starting any activity in the area.
We always liaise with the local leadership, even up to the LC1, up to the village level, because some of these hotspots, some of these thick bushes are known hideouts. And therefore, it's very important to get a security a situation report of how a particular area that you intend to visit is.
This follows the recent murder of 3 geologists, Edina Tumosime, Chigwe Richard, Charles Olwenyi, and 2 UPDF soldiers, John Bosco Obwana and Private Jim Otim Oti. The 5 were murdered and their 2 guns taken away by suspected warriors in Lokisile Lotsan Sub-County, Moroto District. Ivan Juko, Moriniga, UBC News.
The Dean of Namirembe Diocese has warned Christians against bracing acts of sectarianism, tribalism and nepotism that had manifested in past regimes. Reverend Canon Chisawazi, while presiding over the main service at Namirembe Diocese, was dismayed over the growing acts of sectarianism rooted mainly in the political arena.
The Dean Namirembe Diocese, Canon Jonathan Kisauzi, says Ugandans risk repeating history unless they stop tribal sentiments while addressing national issues.
Whenever it comes to such times like when we are having elections or when we are having such changes in leadership, people have such sentiments and they become tribalistic, they become political, and they think that that is the way to go.
Presiding over Sunday service at St. Paul's Cathedral Namirembe, Canon Kisauzi warned Christians against breeding acts of sectarianism and ethnic sentiments.
The only thing I would like to say that we are all Ugandans, and even before we go to vote or to elections, our Lord God already knows who should be our leader. So we should pray for such a person, because once someone takes the mantle of leadership, he is in charge of all of us. And when we don't pray for such, then we shall have problems.
Canon Kisauzi advised Christians to embrace the God in them, other than the God in the world, even after the Lent season.
I want to pray to the Almighty God that we cease to challenge and make such utterances which are derogatory or abusive to our other beings or other tribes. So
Canon Jonathan Kisauzi hailed the goodness displayed by the befallen Speaker of Parliament, Jacob Oulanyah, who has been contributing generously to the church.
Joined positively in the issue of the love gift when he came and gave up some 100 million shillings towards that. Yeah.
The body of the late Jacob Oulanyah is expected in the country anytime and will be laid to rest at his ancestral home in Omoro district.
Now, believers have been urged to support persons in need at all times and more particularly during the Lent period. This was said by Reverend Father Alex Kabagira while he was leading prayers at LUBAGA Cathedral.
Christians have been asked to share with the needy and the vulnerable in the communities, particularly during this Lent season. A senior priest at LUBAGA Cathedral, Reverend Father Alex Kambagira, says helping a savage youth that helps strengthen faith through action.
Fe abali mu kisiibo nga tukowola ekisa ky'Omukama tulina okudda gy'ali ne tulina okumutegeera buli omu ku ffe okubeera ng'Omukama atusaasira tulina okuba nga tumutegedde tulina okuba nga naffe twetegedde knowing oneself okwetegeera.
During the sermon, the priest also reminded the Christians to pray for the country to overcome challenges connected to the current escalation of high prices that are affecting people's livelihoods.
Kubonerera oba omaze okutegeera kiki ekitagenze bulungi. Buli kaseera tulina okwetunulamu abooluganda twetegeere kiki kye tulina okukola na wa we tutagenze bulungi ne tutandika olugendo olujja.
Kambagira prayed for unity and mutual respect among Ugandans.
UBC News Tonight takes a very short break, but we still have more stories in store for you. We'll be right back.
Need to send money to a loved one, but you don't have enough on your phone? Have you run out of fuel, but you don't have enough money? Do you want to pay for your car or water, but have insufficient funds? Or do you want to shop, but you don't have enough money? Don't worry, get away with MTN Momo Advance. Momo Advance tops up your Momo to complete your transactions. Dial *165*5*3# to apply. MTN Momo Advance is always available when you need it.
Where does it come from? That thing that makes us Ugandan. That thing that makes us different from everybody else. Where does it grow infinitely? Some say it's in our history, in our culture, and in our hearts, in our warm smiles and vast miles of coffee, dairy farmland, and amazing maize fields. It's in our inherent pursuit to always be better, to never stop growing and glowing. So you see, we are more than just a waving flag. We are a nation of sweat and skills, a nation of ideas and inventions. But what truly makes us Ugandan is our quest to improve the quality of life for Ugandans by creating sustainable jobs, businesses, and improving household incomes. That's what makes us Uganda Development Bank. Uganda Development Bank, inspiring development.
Get connected today with the My Airtel 4G smartphone and enjoy free data for 1 whole year worth 86,500 Uganda shillings. That's free 2 GB for the first month and free 1 GB for the next 11 months at only 250,000 Uganda shillings with free data for 1 whole year worth 86,500 shillings, making the effective price of the 4G phone 163,500 shillings only. Airtel, the smartphone network.
Welcome back from that break. Now, more stories. Uganda has surpassed her set targets for the Dubai Expo 2020, which has been running for 6 months and closing this month on the 31st. According to Uganda's ambassador to the United Arab Emirates, Zake Chibedi, Uganda has used the Expo to promote a cocktail of opportunities in the country, and the results are there for all to see. He was speaking at the event organized to take stock of Uganda's gains at the Expo in Dubai, also attended by the Ministers of Information and National Guidance.
The 6-month-long Dubai Expo 2020, which attracted 192 countries and close to 20 million visitors, is coming to an end this 31st of March 2022. Uganda used the event to position the country as ripe for potential investment in agriculture, energy and manufacturing, value addition, and promoting Destination Uganda.
Uganda's participation brought all relevant stakeholders on board, and they were able to identify the gaps in both quality and the quantities that is creating inconsistent supplies in the UAE and in the Middle East.
During the second Uganda Tourism Trade and Investment Forum, which ran under the theme Explore Uganda for Tourism, Trade and Investment Opportunities, organized by the Uganda Export Promotions Board in Dubai, numerous speakers pitched to the Dubai business community the enormous untapped opportunities in Uganda.
During the Expo, the Uganda Investment Authority and the government of Uganda, again represented by our embassy here, concluded investments worth United States dollars 2 billion. 2 billion. Our plug and play bankable projects with clear return on investment calculations are available with our teams here and are also available on our website.
I am so amazed at how Ugandans love their country, you people. The interest you put in the Expo, if you put this interest in everything you do, and we do, Uganda is headed for prosperity. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
The Ministry of ICT and National Guidance was represented by State Ministers Godfrey Kabyanga, Joyce Nabosa Sebugwao, and the Ministry's Permanent Secretary, Dr. Amina Zawedde. They used the event to promote the ministry's drive of turning Uganda into an innovation and business processing outsourcing powerhouse of the region.
The Ministry of ICT and National Guidance will continue to work towards enabling market-oriented innovations, connecting the best of business talent and ideas from around the world. We have come, we have seen, we have learned, we have connected, we have explored. We are going to act, and we are going to act soon, and we are also going to act right.
Abdul Aziz Al-Hulal Al-Surwari, the Director, Sharjah Chamber of Commerce, addressed the gathering on behalf of the UAE government. Dr. Abdul Muin Mohammed, the Chief Executive Officer, Elite Group, and who was recently appointed Presidential Advisor on Agriculture by President Museveni, also addressed the forum.
Naturally, as the Director of Agri-Commodities at the Dubai Multi-Commodity Center, the MCC, a key area that I believe that the UAE and Uganda can further collaborate on is the coffee industry. Uganda is a major global exporter of coffee.
President Kaguta Museveni set the tone for Team Uganda at the Expo in October 2021 as he officially presided over the Uganda National Day celebrations. Samuel Senono, UBC News in Dubai.
NTEBEZA EBY'ABAKARE is a new book on the shelves. The book aims at promoting the culture of the Bachiga. The book was launched at Chichere village in Wakiso district by the Presidential Advisor on Chigezi Affairs, who is also the Chancellor, Kabale University, Professor Mondo Kagonyera. NTEBEZA EBY'ABAKARE was authored by John Twinom Singuzi, and former presidential aspirant Lieutenant General Henry Tumukunde says the book will help maintain the culture of the Bachiga and the rest of the Abanyachitara.
One day at a time, sweet Jesus.
NTEBEZA EBY'ABAKARE by a former Director, Commonwealth Secretariat in London, John Chichere Twinom Singuzi, is now on the shelves. The book NTEBEZA EBY'ABAKARE has curated a volume of essential Ruchiga teachings from rhymes to proverbs and flows into folk tales.
Every subculture in Uganda and in Africa has an obligation to protect what their forebears left them and to develop it. I think the problem we've been having is that our children, those after our generation, which was born in the villages, although they love their mother tongues, they have no access to it.
John Twinom Singuzi, the 80-year-old author of NTEBEZA EBY'ABAKARE, says the book is a reference point for Ruchiga and Runyachitara oral tradition.
They love their languages, but how are they going to get access to it? We must give them access to that language by using the bilingual method, which I hope is going to be followed by other writers. We can help to make sure that the process of careful, concise translation from the English to our vernaculars is developed to a level which will become useful to the incoming generation.
The Chancellor, Kabale University, Professor Mondo Kagonyera, officiated the book launch.
of all people, an economist could find it necessary and possible to sit down and write a book in Runyakitara about a component of the Banyakitara people called the Bachiga. It's an amazing feat, and therefore I want to congratulate you.
A former presidential aspirant, Lieutenant General Henry Tumukunde, hailed the offer for the book full of wisdom.
We need to spend time attaching great importance to documenting our own views and documenting our own history. So really, the importance of writing, as we are proud to be here today to be witnesses of this very great effort, the importance of writing is very, very important.
Linguists urge that there is urgent need to translate all public documents into local language, with authors focusing on writing books in their native languages as a way of performing the African culture. The Chancellor, Makerere University, Ezra Suruma, Professor Manuel Muranga, the Principal of Bishop Baharam University, and Greater Chiges Diocese bishops, among others, attended the book launch.
The Pakistani community in Uganda have committed themselves to working with the Ugandan nationals in promoting peace and harmony in the country. Now, this was during the 82nd Pakistani Revolution celebrations held in Intinda.
The Pakistani community have celebrated 82 years of freedom from India. In 1940, the Muslim population of India unanimously decided to create their own independent country under the leadership of great leader Muhammad Ali Jinnah.
Today we are celebrating the Resolution Day of Pakistan, which was passed on 23rd March 1940. Why that resolution was passed? As in that area of our Hindu and Muslims belongs to two different religions and philosophies, social customs, literatures. Even they neither intermarry and nor interdine. And indeed, they belong to two different civilizations. That was the major reason, mainly based on the conflicting ideas and conceptions.
The occasion was officiated by the third Prime Minister of Uganda, Hajati Rukia Nakadama, who preached the gospel of togetherness between Ugandans and Pakistan community in Uganda.
I found out that in Pakistan, the people take a lot of tea. We have Ugandan tea here. So, in few days to come, I'm going to meet with the people who are in charge of tea, so that they start taking our tea, Ugandan tea, directly to Pakistan. There is no reason why our tea should go from here, then Mombasa, then rebranded, then be sold as something from another country. Yet it is originating from Uganda here. Soon I'm meeting that team, and we want to see that Uganda and Pakistan, the doors are open for trade and for business.
We are very happy. We are celebrating with vigorously, and the Pakistani community is very happy that our embassy is coming here. And anytime our new ambassador Hassan Wazir, he will come here and he will take the charge of his diplomatic responsibilities. And it will be very good for the Ugandans and for the Pakistanis. Before they were going to the Nairobi for getting the visa and the other necessary documents. Now it will be processed here in Uganda. That is very good news for the...
Meanwhile, the Overseas Pakistanis Global Foundation Africa has held a blood donation in Nakawa. This was due to scarcity of blood in different health centers and hospitals across the country due to COVID-19. The African Region Chairman of Overseas Pakistanis Global Foundation Africa, Zishan Ashad, says that they have done a lot in the health center in the way of saving lives of Ugandans.
We was appreciated by the government, where we have spent almost like 2 billion shillings on this project for the cataract surgery. This blood camp we have arranged today, it is actually after the COVID, all around the globe there is a much need for the blood. Blood banks are empty. People need blood camp. There are vulnerable people in the hospitals. around there, they need blood, but there is no blood. We have got requests from the blood bank, from Mango and from the side of Mango as well. So we have organized this blood to save the lives. It is that to save one life as you save the whole humanity.
Ivan Juko, UBC News.
Internal auditors from all over the country under the association, Local Government Internal Auditors Association, has completed a 2-day annual workshop at Crane Resort Hotel in Ishaka Bushenyi district. The refresher workshop was meant to enable them to effectively do their watchdog role to ensure that government funds are put to proper use.
To ensure that there is timely payment of employees' remunerations.
Auditors holding public offices have been asked to ensure payroll audit and management in local governments is done perfectly.
We are here to add value, get more training, get experience, so that we can do our work with ease.
The payroll takes almost 70% of government funds, and yet there is a lot of discrepancies which can be addressed through organizing internal forums.
Our audit was based on risk-based audit, and this one will help us actually to do very well our work so that the government programs are fulfilled.
The association chairperson, who is also the senior auditor for Sabagabo Municipal Council in Machindye, Mugumbya Herbert, says the payroll audit and management in local governments is still very critical.
Payroll takes almost 70% of government money. And there were so many issues to do with ghosts, issues to do with under budgeting, issues to do with overpayment. That's why we decided that no, because of that, we should. And we are strict. These 2 days we are concentrating on issues of payroll.
A facilitator at the workshop from St. Leo Consults Method argued auditors to ensure that they audit the payrolls in their local governments at least every quarter in order to avoid payroll errors.
That we have acquired, really it will help us to reduce if at all there are ghosts, if at all there is misuse of government money. Now we shall gap up that control, so that we can reduce on the wasteful expenditure of the government.
Participants appreciated the organizers of the workshop, saying it will create positive impact on their day-to-day work, help them use the integrated database systems effectively without struggling, and to master the new laws and regulations that govern the auditing operations.
It's also good for our members to get updated with the new laws and regulations. For example, we have the Public Finance and Management Act, which is new in place. We need to inform our members of new events. We have regulations of auditing the payroll, and it is a very risky area which our members have to get to know. That's why we have these annual conferences or workshops.
Educationists have been urged to guide students and minimize the increasing unemployment. The founder, Incredible Youth International, James Bryan Ntwatwa, says there is need to nurture good communication skills among students in regard to career guidance to grow their creativity. Take a look.
It is every child's dream to get quality jobs after completion of school. However, many are left out due to poor choices because of lack of career guidance both by parents and educationists. It is for this reason that government gazetted the National Career Guidance with an enabling environment for career guidance.
Been to over 1,600 schools across the country. I've been talking to young people about communication skills, creativity, critical thinking and collaboration, and somehow God has been faithful. We have been able to grow a network of over 2.9 million young people, and these young people are scattered in 60 countries globally. So right now we are growing our networks in different places. But the main reason why we're here today is to celebrate the National Career Guidance Day.
The founder, Incredible Youth International, James Bryan Ntwatwa, says there is need for Ugandans and youth to develop a spirit of nationalism.
People are positioned in wrong jobs, and therefore the productivity is actually very low, or sometimes we are not able to use the talents that we have amidst our communities. Therefore, it's very important for young children or people who are in schools to identify the strengths or the skills that are well aligned to what they know better.
Semakula Henry, an officer at the Ministry of Education in the Department of Career Guidance, says children need to know their abilities and subjects required.
Because with vocational, you can never go wrong. If I'm a plumber, I may fail to be employed by Uganda National Water and Sewerage Corporation, but I can put up my small plumbing firm and I do some work. I've reminded them about getting mentors and role models. I've reminded them about volunteering, when there's an opportunity. Somebody can come closer to a journalist like you and find out how this goes.
Children have been urged to be careful with parental pressure and focus on the job opportunities on market. The Ministry of Education and Sports is emphasizing implementation of the lower school curriculum with focus on hands-on skills. So that Kai, UBC News.
Enjoy convenience today with Airtel Money School Pay. Dial *185#. Select option 6, school fees. Select option 2, school pay. Select option 1, pay fees. Enter student number. Enter the amount. Enter the PIN number to complete payment. Beat the back-to-school hustle today. Pay school fees conveniently using Airtel Money. Airtel Money. Instant, secure, borderless.
It's time to learn. Schools are open. As a student, school life is going to be different. You must follow the COVID-19 prevention measures, which include always maintaining a 2-meter distance from others in class, dormitories, entertainment halls, school vans and playgrounds, regularly washing your hands with soap and water, wearing a washed and clean mask that covers your mouth and nose every day, and encouraging your classmates to do the same. Your teachers will also guide you on how to follow SOPs. Don't engage in violence with other students. Report any cases of abuse by teachers or other children to a senior teacher. Those who don't follow the rules should be immediately reported to a class teacher for correction and further guidance. If you experience flu-like symptoms such as a sore throat, fever, dry cough or body weakness, immediately seek medical attention from the school nurse and inform your class teacher. Whenever you sneeze or cough, please remember to cover your nose and mouth with a bent elbow, tissue or handkerchief. Let's share knowledge, not COVID-19. This message is supported by the Ministry of Health, Ministry of Education and Sports, and UNICEF. Stay safe.
Pay for your dream phone, Mpola. Get your dream phone today for as low as 1,400 Uganda shillings with free data for a year and pay slowly. All phones come with daily 50 MBs for 12 months. Repayment period is 1 year. Available at MTN service centers and M-Kopa shops.
Welcome back from that break. And now into some business news. Ugandans have been urged to embrace vocational training to acquire lifelong skills. The Director General, National Agriculture Research Organization, Dr. Ambrose Agona, was at the 7th graduation ceremony of Mwerere Vocational Training Center in Wakiso District.
The Directorate of Industrial Training has been empowering Ugandans with hands-on skills through vocational training. This is the message that Mwerere Community Vocational Training Center is carrying forward by ensuring that Ugandans access vocational skills. The government, through the Directorate of Industrial Training, plans to continue empowering Ugandans with vocational skills.
You can remove it. You remove it, you fill in water, you replace it back. It's also the engine cooling system. This is our radiator.
Here on the fuse box we have each fuse, and each fuse has a different fuse. This fuse can be for indicators.
Mwerere Community Vocational Training Center is providing tailoring, carpentry, hairdressing, and motor vehicle mechanics skills, among others. Over 150 graduates were recently awarded certificates in a variety of sectors.
Powers that have been conferred upon me to award you the various certificates in fulfillment of the various courses. I confer you what you deserve best. Amen.
Graduate in ICT and HD. 10 level 2, certificate level 2.
The Director General National Agriculture Research Organization, Dr. Ambrose Agona, officiated the event and urged the graduates to utilize the skills attained to improve their communities.
At the end of the day, whatever you have gained from here must be put into practical usage. Today as we talk, Uganda is saying we are going bioeconomy. We are talking about agro-industrialization. We are talking about the issues of technologies, the issues of innovations, to push on with the agenda. So impressed.
The principal Mwerere Community Vocational Training Center, Safina Tebakonzeka, says was started to equip learners with the basic skills aimed at improving their livelihoods.
Are looking at admission or getting this student who has not had an opportunity of going to school at all. This person does not know how to read or write. This person has never seen a blackboard. So those are the people we are looking for and more. We are looking right from the roots to the branches and the leaves.
Ivan Juko, Flower Semper, UBC News.
Get connected today with the My Airtel 4G smartphone and enjoy free data for 1 whole year worth 86,500 Uganda shillings. That's free 2 GB for the first month and free 1 GB for the next 11 months at only 250,000 Uganda shillings with free data for 1 whole year worth 86,500 shillings, making the effective price of the 4G phone 163,500 shillings only. Airtel, the smartphone network.
And into the world of sports, after 3 days of deliberations, Uganda Olympic Committee has completed its strategic planning workshop. It was hosted at Sheraton Hotel and facilitated by Zimbabwean Robert Mutsuaki.
Uganda Olympic Committee's strategic planning workshop has climaxed with a lot of optimism that the 2020 to 2027 period will be one in which numerous successes will be realized.
We're talking about areas of sustainability, questions about eco-friendly practices, questions about embracing technology, risk management. So there are a number of new areas, but also building on what we've been working on: athlete development, organizational efficiency, business development. So there's a lot of new areas, but also building on what was in the old plan. And we look forward, together with the executive team and our federation, to move UOCCGA forward over the next couple of years.
The 3-day workshop was facilitated by Olympic Solidarity Strategic Planning Consultant Robert Mutsuaki.
The business development wasn't stated in the previous strategic plan. Now it has come there. That's why we are talking about sponsorship, we are talking about business partnership, strategic partnerships, the brand positioning and all that we need to build and leverage a strong brand, UOC brand. And also now, critically, we can take advantage of our performance in Tokyo 2020, all those medals that we got there. What can they translate into additional resources for sport in Uganda?
Participants were drawn from several federations and commissions and have gained vast knowledge from the 3 days workshop.
It has been an interesting journey. We've learned a lot of what is expected of us to move sports to another next level.
Several other consultations will follow in the interim before the strategic plan is certified and adopted. John Barnes, Sentamo, reporting.
The boxing fraternity in Uganda and in the diaspora have initiated a project to celebrate the life and times of former coaches Musa Kent and Dick Katende. Kent passed on in 2011 while Dick Katende died in 2016. All through their careers as coaches at club and national levels, the two gentlemen served diligently and are responsible for many pugilists. The many they nurtured have now pooled resources to organize the first ever KK Memorial Boxing event. Boxers like Atanas Mugera, Kasim Ouma, Andaman Daku and Mohammed Kayongo are some of those behind the memorial event. It's slated for the 14th of April 2022, with the KK in the event named representative of the initial and most common names of the two late coaches, Kent and Katende. The April 14th memorial event will have several fights, but with boxers from East Coast and Uganda People's Defence Forces most involved, because it's those two clubs that inked the late coaches' names in memory. Some of the boxers arranged to fight on the day include Isaac Masembe and Frank Muhira. The benefits of the day will go towards the families of the deceased.
I'm happy that, of course, some friends of ours within the boxing fraternity have come up to remember one of theirs, who's Coach Kent and Coach Dick, and they're trying to show that they really appreciate what these guys did for them and did for the sport of boxing, which is a good thing, and that we should always appreciate people when they have done good stuff, both alive and those who have passed. But as a federation, of course, we also have a similar bigger program that we are trying to work on. We had actually passed it because we had planned to always organize something called the Legends Cup. And the Legends Cup is supposed to be dedicated to different legends. And also we'll have to come with the criteria of how we choose who becomes a legend, because not every single person will become a legend. And that we had planned to put in place a committee that will have a qualification status of who qualifies to become a legend. And then once you are a legend, then you can always organize legends competition on a yearly basis, but dedicate to a certain legend at a time.
Just my promoter to bring the t-shirts here. You have them, kind of. If a president of federation says
Uganda Archery Federation has hosted its first calendar activity, with the club's championship taking center stage at Kitante Primary School. It was a contest between 8 clubs whose details are explained by Uganda Archery Federation President Makbond Asimwe.
We're having our championships for clubs. It was successful. 8 clubs participated in it, starting with the age of 10 upwards. The clubs, we have Mandela Club, Makerere University Club, UPDF Club, Uganda Police Archery Club, Victory Club, and Kutabika Archery Club. So we had 30 meters for ages, archers of age 10, 14, and then we also had 50 meters for those who are using compound balls, and then recurve balls, those who are shooting 70 meters. The big intention of this championship is to attract more archers and engage them to be more proactive in archery as a sport. It's a sport of mind, and it has a lot of concentration, especially for the young people, which are participating in archery. So we will be having this championship for clubs every 3 months until we have the national champions at the end of the year.
I started doing clubs at school, and that was archery in as an option, and I thought that would be different and exciting to some of the rest.
My mom, when I was young, I used to wake up in the morning and watch TV. So then my mom found me a sport that I could do instead of doing that every morning.
Well, that wraps it up in the UBC News Tonight. But before we leave, let's first take another look at the top stories of the night.
Brought to you by
How to get points. Just use MTN to make calls, send SMS, load airtime, buy bundles, or pay for MTN subscription services.
Everywhere you go, MTN.
Karamoja leaders condemn recent murders of visiting geologists. Minister Baryomunsi urges Greater Mubende to uphold unity for development. Uganda hosts the second Tourism Trade and Investment Forum. And boxing enthusiasts remember Coach Kent and Katende.
Was brought to you by Everywhere You Go, MTN.
Would like to thank you so much for your company this evening. Do have a blessed week ahead of you. I'm Loreen Masika Kazimoto and Mohammed Mugalu in Sign Language Interpretation. We wish you a blessed week and a good night.